This experience is for anyone in central Ohio who wants a hike with a little bit of a challenge. The vibe is one of being outdoors and getting some Mother Nature love. Hi, I'm Kim Wilson, OSU graduate, corporate professional by day, and adventure seeker at all other times. I've been to all but 2 continents, and I never want to stop learning and seeing what this wonderful, wonderful world has to offer. I chose the Christmas Rocks State Nature Preserve in Lancaster, Ohio as my wild experience. It takes you a bit outside of Columbus, but not all the way into the more popular areas of Hocking Hills, which tend to be very overcrowded most days, in my opinion. I'm always looking for new hikes and places to explore, and I stumbled on this gem a few years ago, and it has recently become my go-to when I have a few hours and I want something a bit different from the standard Columbus City parks. If you're trying to train for hiking in higher elevations anywhere else in the world, it's pretty difficult to find something even close to challenging around here. This hike gives you a nice chance to get your heart pumping and thighs burning, and it's relatively unknown, so you shouldn't run into many people while you are huffing and puffing and trying to catch your breath. Ohio is a lot of farmland and open fields and has literally no mountain ranges, but there is a bit of the foothills of the Appalachians in the easternmost part of the state. This hike can be a great trail run as well for those who like to do that sort of thing. These trails are beautifully lined with mature trees, unique rock formations, ferns, and all sorts of the standard Midwest flora and fauna. And it stays quite dry no matter what the season because the only water feature is basically the creek called Arnie Run that runs along the main part of the path that connects the 2 loops. This trail consists of 2 loops, which, if combined, end up being around 4.5 miles total. I've done this trail backwards and forwards and doubled the loops when I wanted to be outside longer and get in closer to 10 miles in a day as opposed to 5. It's open 30 minutes before sunrise and 30 minutes after sunset, and the parking lot is pretty small, probably holding around 20 vehicles or so, but I've never seen it completely full. I suppose after this review gets out there, though, it could increase in popularity. When you are starting off from the parking lot, you head down an unpaved road that actually goes by a farmhouse and doesn't really look like it's going to be that close to nature, but keep going and you will get to some good stuff. The first loop is called Jacob's Ladder, and it is rated as moderate to difficult because it's pretty much a straight haul up to just about the best view of Ohio treetops and farmland as you're going to get around the Columbus area. The second loop is a bit longer and called the Christmas Rocks Loop Trail, and that one is rated as simply moderate since the elevation gain and loss is more gradual, but still present. This place is a hidden gem, and it seems like most of the Hocking Hills crowds have not yet found it, which makes it quite appealing to me. I've hiked and run this in the pouring rain in the spring, in a foot of snow in the winter, and in the humid heat of the Ohio summers, and every time I see something new. There's a secret spot sort of off of this trail that I discovered from a fellow hiker that I will pass along to you now, so you're welcome. When you get to the top of the Christmas Rocks Loop, the second one marked as blue, there are a set of wooden steps going down that are closed. Don't take these steps down, as they are rightfully closed and dangerous, super slippery, but do shimmy down the hill beside the steps. And at the bottom, there's a faint path to follow if you veer to the right. Almost immediately, you'll see a large rock formation on your right-hand side, and you should head straight for the divide in the middle of it. When you get to that, stand at the opening and you can see a natural cross formed. Feel free to walk all the way inside that crevice, and it will take you to the left and out. And that gives you a pretty cool little added bonus to this hike. I love it. I've heard 2 theories on why this is called Christmas Rocks, and one of them is that these large cross-like fissures were likely referred to as Christ Rocks, which then morphed into Christmas Rocks. Another theory is that there are ferns here that remain green most of the winter, so they could have been gathered as holiday decorations in the past. I'm going with the first theory because who doesn't want to set out on a hiking quest to find Christ Rocks? Anyway, in conclusion, although it may mean that more folks will know about this spot, I am grateful to have found it and to share it with you. There are also a few more places to hike kind of in that same area that are super cool as well. Rockbridge Nature Preserve, which has Ohio's largest natural bridge made of rock. Rhododendron Cove is really cool. Clear Creek has some longer hikes available if you want to do like 10 to 14 miles, and Bach Hollow, to name a few. And lastly, if you want to have a well-earned beer after your hike, try Outer Belt Brewing or Rock Mill, which are kind of in that same area. You don't have to drive very far after your hike. Have fun, everybody, and stay hydrated.